What you see beside me here is a Bally Cypress Gardens Bingo pinball machine. A very, very old pinball machine. Mike picked this up a while ago, and we need to move it out of the building. But there's a problem. The leg in the back corner underneath this 1,000-pound box of electronics is broken out, and we need to patch that up today. So we're going to be taking this machine apart so that we can work on the box. And I looked all around the internet and I couldn't find a single video on how to take this box off. Although I don't think it's very hard, I would just like to document it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be taking this box off, taking the play field off, emptying out the box, taking the legs off, and patching up the box on the bottom and putting new leg braces in so that this thing will support itself and won't fall apart when we try to move it. So keep watching. This back right corner, you can see how the leg is pulled away there. It is barely holding on at all. And as a matter of fact, we have a bungee cord tying the front leg to the back leg just to keep it from splaying out and falling over completely. And I think all of them kind of need to be fixed, but this one is by far the worst. So we're going to be getting to that to fix it today. So let me take you around the back and show you what's inside and see what it'll take to get this thing apart. So I have the back box swung open, and as you can see, there is just a ton of mechanical computation systems sitting here on this back panel. And also inside the box. Now I'm not sure how well this is all going to show up, but I'm just trying to give you a good view. To remove this back box, it looks like there are some bolts that we need to take off. It looks like there's one there and another one here vertically, or I guess that one's horizontally and that one's vertically. And then over on the other side, you got the same thing. There's one down there. And there's another one back up there if you can see it. And then there's 3 Jones plugs right there that we need to disconnect. That drops down to the back box. And there's a power cord right here going down, but that I think is actually just attached to this power cord and is part of the back box. So I think that will come out all by itself. So we've disconnected the Jones plugs, and we've put this piece of wood underneath the door to carry the weight of this while I disconnect those screws inside. So we'll see if that works. If not, we'll bring you back and show you the carnage. Okay, that wasn't as bad as we thought. We couldn't film it, of course, because we had our hands filled. But we have the back box off and onto the little lift. We ratchet strapped it on just to make sure, because it's a pretty tall thing and we don't want to lose anything. And the box has been taken off. So as you can see, it was just those 4 bolts and those couple of 3 Jones plugs, and that lifted right off of there. So we're good to go. We'll take the back glass off next and get the play field out of there, and then we'll be able to take the legs off and start working on the box. So Mike is trying to figure out how to get the top off of here. It's a little different from a regular play field because it has all of these buttons, but that's pretty neat. They just push down through the thing, so yes. The buttons aren't real, so the actual switches are on the inside or on the bottom of the play field. Something else. What did you have to take loose to get it to come off?
Didn't touch anything.
You didn't take anything loose? Okay, well, there's probably, it looks like those were bolted on. Yeah, there's a couple of long bolts there, and probably had nuts on the bottom.
Yeah,
so
that's correct.
And the evolution to the slide latch was definitely something nice. Okay, we lifted the play field out. It was just like any pinball machine play field. It just lifted right out. On the back of this, there is a motor unit with a few switches on it and a solenoid. Well, it acts. The motor also acts as the shutter to pull the ball release so the balls can drain back out. And over here on the table, there's just a little wooden shuttle thing that just shuttles all the balls together.
and drains them down into the drain hole so you can shoot them out again. And this piece just lifts out of here also. There's some breakfast cereal down here on the bottom, probably for the mice. There's another motor with some switches on it here for some reason. We have no idea how the electronics in this thing works. We will figure that out later. But right now you can see the problem with our play field back here. It is just all broken out and stuff, so we're definitely going to have to fix it. Those are the Jones plugs that used to attach to the top. So that's interesting. These were the 3 Jones plugs that I disconnected. The playfield has some Jones plugs that were not connected in, so the guy who sold the table to Mike must have removed those earlier. So anyway, so now we're gonna get Mike's working at getting the balls out of there, and then we'll probably take the legs off. So as it turned out, we needed that lift to move the table, get the legs off. So we put the back box up against the wall where it'll be safe and the glass will be protected. And now we're going to go and take these legs off. Okay, we're going to take a closer look at this damage just to document it. You can see here that that whole side is popped out. And if I walk around and look from the inside here, you can, let me get over here a little bit. You can see that the whole back section is pulled away from the bottom. Let's see if I can get under here. It might be a little dark in here, but yeah. So some of the blocks are broken off. All of these side blocks are pulled away from the side. They're still attached to the bottom, but they're not attached to the side, and the side isn't in the rabbet that it should be in. So this side looks pretty good. So anyway, we got a little bit of work to do. I think the first thing we're going to do is get a vacuum and get some of this dust and dirt out of here so the glue will stick, and then we'll try and pull it back together with a cable ratchet strap to see if we can get it to seat back up. And assuming that it dry fits back together okay, we will lift it back apart a little bit, slab some glue in there, tighten it back together, and then we'll go ahead and put the leg braces in. Okay, using a couple of cable straps, we managed to pull the box kind of back together. We tucked the bottom edge in and got this back in place. Mike is considering very seriously building a brand new chassis for this, at least just the outside, the sides, back and bottom, and then harvesting all the internal components from here and moving it to a new box. So we've decided not to do a lot of excess work on this. We're going to glue some wedges in the corners and stuff to kind of hold it together. And Mike has these new metal plates that bolt into the sides, which will give it extra strength and should make it usable for us. So yeah, you can see how that'll act like a wedge all by itself. So we're going to move on to doing that and get this thing back up on its feet. So under this part of the table, right here and right here, there's a wooden wedge that gives strength to this top piece, which we think is very important because it's where the back box bolts onto, and our brackets are hitting that. So Mike is in the other room grinding away some of the bracket so that it'll fit. There's only about maybe 3/8 of an inch of overlap, so if we get that ground away, we think those will fit. We also did have to remove a piece of wood that was on the bottom. You can see where the wood is splintered out there. It was a brace that went across the bottom that was completely in the way, so we had to remove that too. So this is going to be the wrap up, because we just tried to grind those metal plates, and that's way too hard. We might be able to do it with a cutoff wheel, but we don't have that here with us, so we'd have to go get it, and that would take time. And so Mike has decided that he does want to rebuild this cabinet, and he can probably transport it as is, or we'll figure out a way to cobble it together good enough to transport. But we're going to build a new cabinet before we put this thing back together. So we got about another hour and a half to work, and we're going to spend that time measuring and modeling this cabinet so we know how to build a new one. So I'm not going to film any of that. That's just too much, but we will not probably do the back box. That's in pretty good shape, and we'll probably just leave that. I'm talking for Mike now, and he hasn't nodded yes or no, so I'm not sure if he agrees with me. But I think it's this part of the case is the really bad part. So we're going to measure it up. So that's going to be it for this one. Sorry we didn't get to show you the finished product this time.